The illegal telemarketing operation, often referred to as Rachel from Credit Card Services, has been around since 2008 and was named Public Enemy Number 1 by FTC's John Leibowitz in 2012. In just 1 year and a half, these telemarketers have made over 2.6 billion calls. The nature of the scam is simple. They charge consumers between $400 and $5,000, and in return will either do a simple balance transfer or tell you to call your bank and say that you're experiencing financial difficulties and need to apply to their hardship program, something which you can do on your own without their help. At times, they have been known to call the bank on your behalf and try to negotiate a lower rate, but once again, it is something you can do on your own. More often than not, they will simply charge you monthly for useless services, and you never get anything of value from dealing with them. So, how can you stop these calls? If you're using a smartphone, you can block some of the incoming numbers using smartphone apps. For example, you can blacklist all of the calls that are coming from outside your area code. You can also file a complaint with the FTC. After FTC receives a large enough volume of complaints, they will go after a specific offender more aggressively. But what will FTC do? FTC does a good job at prosecuting the offenders. The problem is that they keep springing back up. For example, the company that placed the 2.6 billion calls, called SBN Peripherals, was fined for $3 million and officially closed down. Many of the assets were seized by the government. Company owners were a husband and wife team from California. They ran a pretty sophisticated operation and had a number of front companies, including one in Hong Kong. Interesting side note is that the address associated with the company leads to a very expensive property in Agora Hills, California. It even has a private tennis court. After the company closed down, the volume of calls fell drastically, but it picked up again in 2011. In all, from 2009 to 2016, FTC has shut down over 12 of these companies. In fact, in 2015, FTC collected a total of $700,000 from various companies involved in the scam and mailed out 16,000 checks, each for $42.95, to consumers that fell for this scam. We have the internet to thank for these calls. As time goes by, it becomes cheaper and cheaper to place automated calls via the internet. And internet-based telephony allows people to operate illegal call centers in countries like India and pay less than a cent per minute for the long-distance calls. Many of these scammers operate completely illegally and have been known to use profane language and even sexually harass their victims. We don't advise you to argue with them because there is simply no point. But there is hope. Consumers are raising so much awareness about the scam that less and less people fall for it, so it's becoming less lucrative to place these calls. And as the saying goes, squeaky wheel gets the grease, so the more noise and awareness we can raise about these numbers, the more organizations and news sites will take notice and less people will fall for this scam. So please leave your comment about the call using the form below, and thank you for using the site.